Odunayoniyi and Akinola Fatai are both civil servants, teachers to be precise, who hail from this town. They tell us that despite their tight schedule, they'd still find time to farm. They say they have been into rice farming since childhood, a trade their parents were into, and they also intend to pass it on to their children.
I got into rice farming, let me say by inheritance, because my father is a rice farmer. So right from my teenage and my school age, I used to follow my father to the farm. We propagate together and process together. So thereafter, after my schooling, I have to start with it.
Almost every home in this community in time past is into production of rice, which explains the reason for the eku, this molded piece used for soaking the rice after harvesting them from the farm. The traditional eku has been replaced with these big black drums and can be found in every home that is still into rice business.
Sometimes in 1976, I read that Nigerians exported rice to Ghana, 1976. About that period, we had a change of government. Muritala Obasanjo came on board as military head of state. It was the era of imported uncle beans. The bad aspect of that story is that our fathers, our brothers, elderly ones that were into farming here, even while processing theirs, when they want to buy rice, here traditionally the breakfast is rice. Up to today, okay. If you want to have your breakfast, you have rice. In the evening, you take pounded yam. So if when they want to buy rice, then they will send their children, go and buy lukubensi and not konde, referring to the imported one as unkubensi, and the locally grown one, the one that is processing, as konde. So what that one resulted to was that there wasn't market for our product. A lot of people have to migrate to Lagos. It is a sad story. Some died there. Some became economically unproductive. It was a terrible experience. But of recent, now that there is market for our product, a good number of us are now coming back. We call it backward integration. So a lot of young ones. And one beautiful thing about the story of this community is that it is youth friendly.
The processing of the rice grains, we were told, starts from the farm. After harvesting from the farm, the rice which still has its shell on it is put into this black drum for 3 to 5 days to soften the shell. It is believed that the longer it stays in the drum, the better the aroma of the rice when it is cooked.
One thing about the rice here is that it is more nutritious than the imported one, and it has to do with the processing. Here we will soak for about 3-4 days, and it has been scientifically proved that when you soak, part of what you have in the coat diffuses into the seed and make it richer. But the imported ones, I don't know how the process they have, but it is parboiled, but there is a coat, a thin layer covering the rice that is not removed here, but the imported is removed. That is why there lacks vitamin A and it causes belly. So nutritionally, ours is a little bit better.
Days after soaking it in the drum, it is then parboiled in the traditional way for about 40 minutes and later spread out to dry it this way and left for another few days.
Ìjìṣàmodù apanada ọmọ ẹlẹ́ni àtẹ̀ká ọmọ ẹlẹ́ni ẹwẹ́lẹ́
When the rice is fully dry, it is taken to the milling machine for shelling, a process that allows the shell to be separated from the rice grain. Sadly too, these processes are carried out without modern machines, which clearly can optimize with higher yield results.
A good number of us that are into processing are not doing it in large scale. If they do, I know that they could derive some support from Bank of Industries, Bank of Agriculture. But now that we have educated ones that are now going into the business, I know sooner or later we will reach that point. I know that there is a huge fund available for tapping for farmers in those two agencies. I'm sure Bank of Industries, Bank of Agriculture. In the past, it is our fathers, the semi-illiterates, that are into this business. I could remember somebody once made a statement that Nigerians deserve to starve as long as we leave farming to the aged, the poor, the illiterates. But thank God, the young, the educated, and the rich are now going into farming. Hopefully, things will change. With the present state of our economy, it's like we don't have any other job to do other than farming. Okay, a bag of okube is selling at about 17,000 naira. Whereas locally one is selling at about 10,000 naira. And this local one is far richer than the imported one. The only intervention we will need is the support of government, NGO, anybody that could assist the processors with the stoning machine and bagging.
If the government comes to our aid and assisted us, then we'll be able to have to increase our production to a very reasonable level that we'll be able to, if not to meet the needs of our neighbors.
It's not only the stoning machine that they will require to separate the machine. There are some other types of machine that must be assembled together. Now that they have requested for it, the government will look at what they can do to assist them.
Okay, they are not also insulated from the common challenges of every home and businesses in Nigeria, the electricity supply challenge. Just how much can be achieved using diesel-fired engines, and how deep is that digging a hole in their pockets?
This is the manual one that we use fuel, diesel fuel, to generate, and you know the cost of the diesel oil these days. So it's not all that convenient for us. Then the second one is the motorized engine that is using electricity. By now we don't have electricity, so if not, we will have milled some for you. So the electricity supply is not regular.